Aidan Booth here, co-founder of KIBO ECLIPSE, and I'm joined today by someone who has been in the first couple of iterations of the KIBO code. He's done other things online as well, and we can dive a little bit into that. But I've asked Steve to join me here today so that he can share a little bit about his experiences with the KIBO code, share some of the lessons, I think, of success that he's seen, give you a little bit of a insight into what he's been able to achieve. I'll ask him, to share what his best day has been, what some of his best tips are, and what he would suggest anyone who's considering getting into the KIBO code or e-commerce in general in 2022 actually do. So, Steve, thank you for taking some time out of your day here just to share your experiences with everyone.
Oh, it's my pleasure entirely. I'm completely thrilled with the KIBO program and couldn't be happier to help you out in any way that I can.
Now, just before we get into some of the specifics of what you're doing, maybe we could give people a little bit of background. So prior to being someone who builds an online business, what did you do? What was your background? Where do you live? Those kind of things.
Oh, absolutely. I live in British Columbia, Canada, and I'm, as you can see by my gray hair, in my mid-50s. And a couple of years ago, when I started kicking around the idea of early retirement, I was looking around to get some ideas on businesses that I could do, traveling, that whole laptop lifestyle idea. And in my day job, I'm actually work designing software for a living. I'm not a programmer, but I actually design software systems. And prior to that, I'm actually a designated accountant, CPA. So I've got a very kind of very rigid kind of a background. And so I was looking for something that it was a program that had kind of like a very structured approach to it. Because much like everyone else there, I looked on YouTube and it went down the rabbit hole of every random YouTube video that's out there and got hopelessly confused. And then so I figured that my best approach to coming up with something to be successful was to find a program that sort of lays it all out for you, and then there's the tools that at least get you started on your path to success. And that's what I had found back in 2020 with the original KIBO program. So signed up and was very pleased with what I saw. Got my store up and running quite quickly, actually. And right when the pandemic hit, sales just went crazy. And then after that, I was working my original KIBO program for the balance of 2020. In 2021, KIBO Quantum came up with a ton of improvements and enhancements that you guys have programmed in. Took advantage of that, and very much looking forward to seeing what's on offer for 2022.
Yeah, well, you won't have to wait very long because we're bringing people into that right now. But one of the things that I think has really impressed me about what you've done, Steve, is you've been someone that I think has done a good job of initially from the get-go sort of following the recipe. Now, I know that you've branched out and you've done that. You've branched out once you have sort of got things up and running. Do you think that your background in accounting, and you mentioned a moment ago you were looking for something that would provide you with a bit of step-by-step guidance, do you think that kind of a background has helped you sort of hit the ground running a little bit? And do you have any tips around the types of characteristics that might help people when they're coming in and building an e-com business?
Oh, absolutely. The thing that you have to do, sort of being new to this industry, like prior to starting with KIBO, I had never done anything e-com whatsoever in my life. Like the first dollar I made online was through my KIBO store, and I never actually sort of entertained the thought of it. And the mindset that you kind of have to take to be successful is you just have to follow the instructions, because in the training and the support for the KIBO program, they basically walk you through step by step, holding your hand to get your store up and running, populate some default products, And then there's all kinds of extra ancillary training around how to design a good product description that engages people to want to buy. As well as there's a lot of different other technical aspects on how to set up your merchant account so you can accept credit card payments, how you integrate with, say, some of the different traffic networks like Google Shopping and Microsoft Bing ads. So all of the different moving pieces that are that you would be, no, I wouldn't say impossible, but very difficult to figure out on your own. It's all laid out in the training that's provided. So basically, as long as you're willing to have an open mind, follow directions and instructions, you'll be fine.
You know, you mentioned a bunch of different things there, and for some people who haven't been through the KIBO code or e-commerce in the past, they might be thinking, oh my God, this sounds daunting. We're talking about merchant accounts and integrations and this, that, and the other. Now, you're a little bit of a seasoned pro, having been through the first 2 iterations of the KIBO code. But what would you tell people who are worried about maybe they're not going to have the ability, or maybe they're not going to have the know-how to be able to do this?
I would actually say don't worry, because basically the whole program is set up so that you're going to succeed. Is that the video training on how to do a certain action is very well laid out, and there's a really good support forum, so that if you're having a problem, there's all kinds of other members who are maybe 1 or 2 steps past where you are that are always willing to jump in and help and give you advice. And as well as there's a dedicated support team behind the scenes that if you really are totally stuck, you can actually send an email out to the support team and raise a ticket and explain what your problem is, and they'll get back to you usually pretty quickly, most times within 24 hours. And you get dedicated help. And sometimes this involves just change these couple flags. Other times it's let's do a screen share and we'll walk you through it, or even do it ourselves. So depending on the level of problems that you run into, you're really not left high and dry and stuck. So because basically the whole program is structured that you're always progressing, always moving, and it's a very, very quick process to get from square zero, where you don't have anything, to an live functional website that you can actually sell products, and then you have those products listed on your site, and you're actually generating traffic to those.
I think Steve Clayton and myself have been doing e-commerce since around about 2005, 2006. And I think when I look back to when we got started, it was so much more complicated than what it is now. The technological advancements, even over the past couple of years, mean that we can integrate with lots of different platforms at the click of a button. And every single one of these platforms is another opportunity for you to make money. And it's not necessarily more admin or more work. Sometimes it's just the push of a button, getting products in a new place enables you to get those products in front of people. Now, I know this is something that you've done. So you were mentioning to me earlier that you're now on the likes of Pinterest. This is something that we're going to be talking a lot about throughout 2022. What are some of the other areas or platforms that you've sold on?
Actually, Pinterest, I would say, is my #1 traffic source, because basically what I've been doing is I've been sort of getting as many products up there as I possibly can. I think my last count is I've got something like 2,800 some products up there, and the actual structure of getting products listed is so incredibly fast that you can, with the tools that we've got available, we can create listings and then get the traffic up to those sources, and then in turn, people just sort of randomly looking around through Pinterest says, this product is quite interesting. I think that it would be something I would want to investigate further. They click on the link, go to your store. If you have an optimized listing, then you sell that product. like I was mentioning just before this call, had a sale for a $397 vinyl laser printer plotter cutting machine. I have no idea what that is or how it works or anything associated, but I have the
you got a sale.
Yeah, I got a sale, and a very profitable one at that, because the margins are close to 50% on that, and so it's that's the kind of results that you'll see, and every traffic is a little bit different, because I know that with the KIBO Quantum, the second iteration of from 2021, the primary traffic source was Facebook Marketplace, and tons of students were just crushing it on there. And that one, just because of my more interest in working on Pinterest, I focused less on that one and more on the other traffic source, and so basically what it is that with the amount of options that are available in the KIBO programs on the ways that you're going to get customers into your store, that if you're finding one strategy doesn't quite work for you, or it's maybe not sort of fitting your kind of mentality, like you don't really like to chat with people like that, that's, to be honest, is my background, is that I would sooner create something that's visually engaging and then drive people to my store, sell them whatever the thing is, and then take their money and everybody's happy. Whereas other people like to have the back and forth conversations with their potential clients. And so depending on what your personality is, you've got different ways that the business works for you.
Yeah, I think about it like, you go to a restaurant and you've got a menu of different options, a smorgasbord of different options, and you can really take your pick. And this is one of the big changes over the past couple of years with e-commerce, is that there really are multiple ways that you can sell and make money. So for some people, like you, Steve, Pinterest is home run. For other people, it might be the Facebook Marketplace. For other people, it might be, Google or Microsoft or something else. There really are a wide range of different options out there these days. And we've obviously got a path which we sort of call the path of least resistance, and we sort of guide people down that. But at the end of the day, you do have the option to choose where you sell. Now, I want to paint a picture a little bit. You've mentioned that you sold a product, I think today, $350 or something like that. 50% sort of margin. You don't have to sell too many of those products to start making a pretty good living. What's been your best day so far in terms of revenue that you've made?
Best day so far is just slightly over $3,000. And with that one, it was actually huge margins. It was a product that I'm selling with sort of accessories and upsells. It's close to $100. And my cost on that is roughly $30. So
that's amazing. That's fantastic. And most of that was through Pinterest? Yep.
Yeah. It's basically once you find your traffic, you just go with it.
Double down.
Double down. That's exactly it. But the one thing that I'm actually looking at for 2022 is I'm going to dip my toe into the world of TikTok. And it's not all just dancing cat videos and things like that. There are a few e-commerce sellers on there. And so I'm just investigating how and the best way to sort of build a profile on there and sell through that platform.
You probably don't know this, but we actually have a TikTok module where we're going to be diving into it. We're getting great results in our business on TikTok, and if people tune into one of the webinars that we're running around KIBO ECLIPSE, where we give more information, we'll be talking about this, as well as something which we're referring to as a breakthrough marketplace. I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag and tell you everyone what that is right now, but definitely tune into one of the workshops, and you'll see a link to that somewhere above or below this video, where you can get more information about what we're doing. But definitely TikTok is going to be a very interesting traffic source, I think, in 2022. Now, I am conscious of your time here, Steve.
Oh no, I've got extra time, so I'm good. So.
Okay. So if someone is coming into this for the first time, or they're on the fence thinking about coming into this, what would you tell those people? I mean, are there any tips? If someone's decided that they're going to come in, what would your tips be for a new member of KIBO ECLIPSE in 2022?
The first thing I would say is actually do it, because the one thing there that KIBO offers that I've not seen any other program whatsoever is that you've got to kick the tires for 30 days. And that was in the last two versions of the program. So you're basically not in any position to lose out. So basically, just go and try it. The way that it's structured is that you will have a store up and running, and you will be able to start selling products within that 30 days. So very much would be at the point of having a successful store that's making sales within that time frame. The other thing that I would suggest is that a lot of it is mindset and attitude. Is that you don't really, and pardon my language, you don't want to half-ass it. And you basically, if you decided that this is something that you're interested in, and you go to it, and you do the work, and you follow the instructions because it's all laid out, and you basically don't go in with the attitude that, well, if it doesn't work out in 30 days, I'll just do a refund. Basically, the day that I signed up for the program is that I said, no matter what it takes, I'm going to make this work. And inevitably, there's a few little hiccups and speed bumps in the road that might sidetrack you for a few days here and there. But just like anything else, you get past them. There's all the support, and both kind of within the forums, if it's a more of a minor issue, or if it's a major technical one, you've got the dedicated behind the scenes support. So mindset and attitude is a huge thing. The one thing I find with many of these programs is that everyone starts and they're super excited and they're looking for instant results. And it's one of those things there that if you don't happen to get them, a lot of times people will get disheartened and they'll quit, and they'll sort of lose their momentum, and they'll either end up sort of parking it, or like I say, they'll quit completely. The thing that I found there is that when I've sort of run into those, I'm always working on my business every single day, no matter what, even if it's just 5 minutes. But I'm always doing something, either taking a look at listings that I've recently put up that perhaps aren't really resonating. So maybe I'll rewrite a product listing to make it a little bit better if people are landing on the page but they're not buying. So that a lot of times the data tells you what you need to be doing. So if you're getting visitors to your product page but you're not selling anything, then chances are your description isn't quite right, or maybe your price is too high, or things like that. So, and this is all part of the training. So basically, once you're up and running, you just go in, and then part of it is that it's kind of a numbers game, in that you need to be trying so many different things for products and stuff. Like I mentioned the laser plotter. Some of the other items that I've been selling quite a number of are things like LED light up dog collars, dog harnesses. So it doesn't really matter the niche that you're in. I've sold planter stands that you put in the corner to put some potted plants on, air purifiers, LED.
I always get a kick out of hearing different products that people are selling, because it's the beauty about what we're doing is we can leverage free traffic, and there's ways to use paid traffic as well, but you can leverage free traffic to start with. So if someone wants to, publish 10 products or 10,000 products, it doesn't actually cost any more money. Sure, there's a little bit more time, but you can automate a lot of that. And then when you publish different products to be sold in different marketplaces and platforms, and of course on your own website, you get all of these interesting surprises. Like, oh my God, I just sold this light up dog collar. I didn't even know those things existed. But anyway, I sold one and I made some money. I never get tired of of those kind of things. And just to another point that you made, I think it's really important that people keep perspective in mind. So if you're building an offline business, and I'm sure as an accountant, Steve, you've probably worked with a lot of offline businesses over the years, this idea of going from being at zero to making hundreds of sales in your first month, I mean, that's almost impossible with an offline business. But with an online business, that's what we expect to do. If you give yourself the luxury of looking through a wee bit longer lens and just say, look, I'm going to give this 3 months, 4 months, and I'm going to put a little bit of time into it each day or each week, then you put yourself in a position where it's almost inevitable that you're going to succeed with something, because it's not a case with e-commerce and online business. It's not a case of if that magic's going to happen, but only when. So I would sort of reinforce what you said there, Steve, and just say that, when you jump in, or if you jump into an opportunity like KIBO ECLIPSE in 2022, make sure you are coming in with that perspective. And yes, you may be able to get, those magic overnight sort of results, but even if it takes you 30 days, it's still not that bad. It's still
absolutely.
faster.
Yeah, I mean, like with my particular journey, it's probably taken a little bit longer than I expected from the first data that I started. But I would say that I'm easily on track to have a well into the six-figure business for 2022 based on what's happening. And in terms of monetary costs, not really spending anything to do that. So it's just time and effort with the free traffic sources that are out there, and basically, as you say, if you do the work, it's not a question if, but it's just a matter of when.
I think also, you've had some great days and great months, and you're going to be into the probably multiple six figures this year, but you're still scratching the surface. I mean, think a few years down the line when you're more into your retirement. There's no reason why you couldn't have a multi-million-dollar e-commerce business, because you're planting those seeds right now. You're harvesting some of them right now, but many more of them are going to, flourish in the years ahead. So I think that's a great place for us to wrap up. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day here, Steve, to share some insights about your journey and, give some people some encouragement who might be thinking about doing something like this for themselves in 2022. If someone's listening to this, you'll be able to find more information up above or below or somewhere around this video about how you can get more information about KIBO ECLIPSE, and we would certainly love to be able to give that information to you so you can make an informed decision, and then if you do jump in, help you make 2022 your best year yet. So Steve, thank you once again so much for being here and taking the time to share your story with everyone.
Oh, it's my pleasure entirely. And for everyone that signs up, just look for me in the forums, and I'll happily work with you once you've made that decision.
Thanks very much, Steve.
All right. Take care. Thanks.